After hours. Willis Gilly looked at his watch. It was 1:45. He reached up and rang the dinner bell and shouted, "Last call." "Lord, where did the night go?" said Melvin Crowder. Ronnie Hyatt laughed. "You all right to drive?" "How about it, boys?" said Charlene Draper as she gathered up the empties. "You want you one more round?" "What do you say, Melvin?" "Hell, it's okay with me as long as Willis gives us time to drink it." "Okay, Charlene, bring us 2 more and the tab." "I wish we didn't have to go," said Melvin Crowder. "I was having a good time." "Well, we could always go down to King's. He's open all night. Of course, he don't have beer. We'll have to drink that damn corn liquor. You know what they say about drinking liquor on top of beer. I don't want to get sick. I always get so blessed paranoid when we go to King's. I feel like the cops are going to bust in any minute. Shoot, you ain't got to worry about that. The cops ain't going to do nothing. Here you go," said Charlene Draper as she put 2 bottles of Blue Ribbon down on the table. "Ronnie, y'all owe me $28. Just put it on my card, sweetheart." "Everybody drink up," Willis Gilly cried out. Then he flicked the light a couple times to get everyone's attention. "Y'all going down to King's place?" said Dale Ferris as he walked over from the pool table. "We was thinking about it. Melvin's in the mood to keep on partying. Hell, me and Becky are going. We'll see you down there." "You boys had better be careful if you're going down there," said Charlene Draper. "That's a rough place." "Oh, it ain't so bad. Mr. King's got him a damn bouncer, and he don't take no shit. Is Melvin driving?" "Yeah," said Ronnie Howard. "Leastways, we come in his truck." "Well, all I can say is y'all be careful." Ronnie Hyatt signed the receipt and handed it back. She looked at it. "Thanks, Ronnie," she said. She smiled and bent down and kissed him on the cheek. Then she hurried off. Willis Gilly flicked the lights again. "Come on," said Melvin Crowder. "Finish that beer and let's get going." Ronnie Hyatt turned up the bottle and drank it down. "Okay," he said. "I'm ready." Mo King's drink house was just off of Melrose Avenue behind Shoe City. Melvin Crowder took it slow. It was only about 5 miles. He pulled up to the curb, and he and Ronnie Hyatt got out. The street was quiet. "Is he open?" asked Melvin Crowder. "He's open. See all the damn cars?" They walked down the sidewalk and up the steps, and Ronnie Hyatt knocked 3 times on the door. A big man in a yellow silk shirt opened it and looked at them sternly. "Yeah," he said. "Let us in," said Ronnie Hyatt. "We're friends of Moe's." The big man grunted and then stepped aside. Melvin Crowder and Ronnie Hyatt walked in. The foyer was dark, but behind a red door there was music playing. They opened it and walked through. The big man closed the door behind them. The lights were dim. There was maybe 30 people crowded into 2 rooms that had once been a living room and dining room. Beyond that was a kitchen that had been converted into a bar. Mo King was standing behind the bar serving drinks in plastic cups. They were $5 a pop, and you could get it 3 ways: corn liquor and tonic, or sour or straight. Mo King had on a purple bow tie. He kept cash in his pockets. "You got money?" said Ronnie Hyatt. "About $50, said Melvin Crowder. "That ought to be enough, don't you reckon?" Over in the corner there were 2 couples slow dancing to the music. 2 stereo speakers hung from the ceiling. There was a row of booths along the back wall and several round tables. Melvin Crowder pressed his way through the crowd and up to the bar. Ronnie Hyatt followed him. "What do you say, Mo?" "Well," smiled Mo King, "I ain't seen y'all boys in quite a while. What can I get you to drink?" "Let us have 2 sours," said Ronnie Hyatt. "Is that okay with you, Melvin?" "Yeah," he said as he lit a cigarette. "That'll be $10, boys," said the bartender, holding out his hand. Melvin Crowder handed Mo King a 20, and he pulled out a roll of cash and peeled off a 10. Then he made the drinks and set them down on the bar. "There you go," he said. They took the cups and walked over and stood in the corner against the wall. "I don't see Dale nowhere," said Ronnie Hyatt. "He probably changed his mind." Then Ronnie Hyatt pointed and said, "There's Robert Emery and that Joanne, what's her name?" "Shively," said Marvin Crowder. "Her name is Joanne Shively. She's right damn good looking, too. I wonder how in the hell Robert managed to snag something like that." Robert's got money. Yeah, I reckon so. Hey, look, they're coming over here. Robert Emery and Joanne Shively moved toward them. Hey, Ronnie, he said as he walked up. He held out his hand. Ronnie Hyatt smiled and shook it. How you doing, Melvin? Y'all, this here's Joanne Shively. Nice to meet you, said Melvin Crowder. I'm Melvin. I know you, she said. You work over at the auto parts store, don't you? Yeah, he said. You went to school with my sister, Louise Shively. She was a cheerleader. I know her. She was always mighty good-looking. As a matter of fact, you look a lot like her. Well, I'll just take that as a compliment, she said. Honey, you ready for another drink? Asked Robert Emery. Yes, I am, she said. She handed him her empty cup. Robert Emery took it and walked over to the bar. Robert Emery wasn't a fat guy, but he had a big round head, and it sat right down on his shoulders. He didn't have any neck at all. Melvin Crowder offered Joanne Shively a cigarette. She took one, and he lit it for her. Then he looked at her and said, Tell me something, Joanne. Why in the hell are you with a guy like Robert Emery, as cute as you are? She lowered her eyes. Then she said, Robert's sweet. He's nice to me. Damn, said Melvin Crowder. Any man would be nice to a girl like you. Ronnie Hyatt was listening. He leaned over and said, Joanne, you'll just have to excuse Melvin here. I think he's had a little too much to drink. Melvin, quit hitting on Robert's girl. You're going to start trouble, and I don't want to get kicked out of here. I ain't starting no trouble, and I ain't drunk. The fact is that Joanne is just so blessed good-looking that I just had to tell her. That's all. You ain't offended, are you? No, said Joanne Shively. I think that you're right good-looking yourself. There. You see, Ronnie? There ain't no problem whatsoever. Everything is cool. Hey, Joanne, how'd you like to dance? She said, all right. He took her hand, and they walked over to the little dance floor about the time Robert Emery came back with the drinks. Where'd Joanne and Melvin get to? He said, looking around. Then he saw them on the dance floor. What the hell's going on, he said. His big round face turned red. Now, Robert, there ain't nothing going on. Melvin just asked her to dance like any gentleman would. After all, she was standing there alone. I don't give a shit. Look at them. Look how he's got his damn arms around her. That ain't right. Robert, don't get upset now. It ain't nothing in the world. He's groping her ass. Look. He ain't? I'll be damned if he ain't. I can see. Damn, baby, you feel nice, whispered Melvin Crowder as he held her close. You do too, she said. Robert's going to be pissed. So what, he said. You ain't got no business with a guy like that, no way. Then a hand gripped Melvin Crowder's shoulder. Excuse me, Melvin, said Robert Emery. I think that I would like to have a dance with my girl. Why, sure, Robert, he said. He let go of her and moved out of the way. Robert Emery put his arms around her and started to dance. Melvin Crowder walked back over to where Ronnie Hyatt was standing holding 3 drinks. Well, you've done it now. He's fuming mad. Why did you have to go and grab her damn behind? Don't you have no sense at all? Honest to God, Ronnie, I couldn't help myself. You never can. I think we ought to go before Robert starts something. He ain't going to start nothing. He knows I'd beat him to a pulp. Look at her. She don't want to be dancing with him. The song ended, and Robert Emery and Joanne Shively walked back over. Here's y'all's drink, said Ronnie Hyatt. You know, I just have to say that y'all two make a damn nice couple. How long have y'all been dating? 4 months, said Robert Emery. He took the drinks and handed one to her. She was looking at Melvin Crowder. Melvin was staring right back. Baby, here's your drink. Oh, thank you, Robert, she said, smiling. Yes, sir. They are one good-looking couple, ain't they, Melvin? Melvin Crowder wasn't listening. Well, I've taken about all this that I can stand. Melvin, leave my girl alone, and I mean it. Calm down, Robert, said Melvin Crowder. Goodness, Robert, said Joanne Shively, what in tarnation has come over you? I ain't blind, he shouted. I ain't blind, and I ain't no fool. The big guy in the yellow silk shirt stood up from the stool by the door. Oh, Lord, said Ronnie Hyatt. Melvin, come on, let's get out of here. Mo King walked over from behind the bar. He waved his hand for the big man. Everybody was looking. What seems to be the trouble, boys, said Mo King. The big guy had come up and was standing beside Ronnie Hyatt. "I think that Robert here wants to pick a fight," said Melvin Crowder innocently. Robert Emery opened his mouth to object, but the big guy grabbed him by the back of his shirt and began to pull him toward the door. "You don't understand," he said. "It ain't me, it's that damn Melvin Crowder. He's hitting on my girl." "Simmer down," growled the big man. "Are you coming, Joanne?" said Robert Emery. She turned to look at Melvin Crowder, then she shook her head. "No," she said, "I'll get a ride." Melvin Crowder reached out and put his arm around her. The big man was dragging Robert Emery across the room. He opened the door and shoved him out. "Don't come back," he said. "Y'all act right now," said Mo King sternly. "Don't worry," he shouted. "Everything is under control. Y'all go on with what you were doing." "I'll be right back, darling," said Melvin Crowder. "Where are you going now?" Ronnie Hyatt said. "Well, the way I figured, I owe the big guy at least $20.